and welcome back to another episode of the Daily O, sponsored by Firo Pizza. I'm Sierra Williams. Thank you for joining us this evening. In breaking news coming from the Capitol today, a U.S. Capitol police officer and an unidentified suspect have died after a vehicle attack on the Capitol complex. According to Capitol Police, a vehicle driven by an unknown man rammed into two officers at one of the vehicle checkpoints that surrounded the Capitol. Capitol Police Chief Yoganda Pittman shared the grim news this afternoon.
At this time, the suspect has been pronounced deceased. Two U.S. Capitol Police officers were transported to two different hospitals, and it is with a very, very heavy heart that I announce one of our officers has succumbed to his injuries.
The National Guard and the Capitol Police responded heavily to the scene. The suspect was pronounced dead after officers opened fire on him and he exited the vehicle, brandishing a knife and charging officers. Both officers who were struck by the vehicle were taken to different hospitals, with one officer not surviving the attack. This incident is coming nearly 3 months after the January 6th riot at the Capitol that sparked a lockdown as well. The police department announced that they did not know the suspect, and at this time he is not believed to have terroristic ties. School choice proponents are happy today, on Wednesday. Governor Kevin Stitt signed House Bill 2078 and Senate Bill 783 into law. The legislation allows Oklahoma public school students to attend any school they please, even if it's outside their district. Governor Stitt said, quote, "Education is not one size fits all, and these bills allow parents and students to have the freedom to attend the best public school for them, regardless of their zip code." These reforms are vital to getting Oklahoma to be a top 10 state in education, and I am proud of this Republican legislature for its dedication to putting students first, end quote. House Democrats said in a statement, quote, "Today the governor and legislature fixed a problem that didn't exist. Last year, 25,000 kids successfully transferred schools. This is a solution looking for a problem. Parents and guardians are still forced to pick between one underfunded school and another underfunded school," end quote. House Bill 2078 bases per pupil funding on enrollment data from schools. Senate Bill 783 allows students to openly transfer, provided the district has space for them. Up next, Dylan Walker catches us up on this week's entertainment news.
Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Spill with Dill with me, Dill. Celebrity drama has been off the charts this past week, and personally, I hate not knowing what's going on. So, let's fill you guys in. Bachelor Nation's Crystal Nielsen announced the birth of her beautiful baby girl this past Wednesday. At 6 pounds and 3.5 ounces, Crystal shared the birth of her, quote, "sweet little angel," end quote, on Instagram. The little girl's name is yet to be announced, or even decided for that matter. After splitting up with her ex-husband, Chris Randone, in February of 2020, Crystal announced that she would be expecting a baby with Miles Bowles this past November. In other Bachelor news, Matt James finally shaved his beard. Or did he? This Bachelor posted a picture on his Instagram story on April 1st with the caption, "It was time. Peace, beard." Obviously, this post is going to raise some suspicions. I mean, it is April Fool's Day, so who knows what tricks he has up his sleeve. Hailey Bieber finally admitted why she deactivated her Twitter account this past summer. Simply put, it's just because she couldn't deal with the negativity anymore. Ever since her engagement with her now husband Justin Bieber, she's had to limit her time on all social media platforms and has even changed her Instagram settings so that people she follows are the only ones who can comment on her posts. She says, quote, "When I look at my comments now, I know it's only going to be from people that are encouraging and uplifting," end quote. And personally, I agree with Haley's decision. Nobody needs that negative energy. And finally, to close out today's show, I thought it would be fun to talk about some celebrity birthdays that are happening this week. On Tuesday, Eric Clapton, Vincent Van Gogh, Norah Jones, and Celine Dion all celebrated their birthdays. On Wednesday, Liza Koshy, Cesar Chavez, and Christopher Walken all celebrated their special day. This past Thursday, Logan Paul turned another year older. And finally, today we celebrate both Quavo and Marvin Gaye. That's all the tea I have for you today, folks. Have an amazing weekend, travel safe, and happy Easter.
Thanks, Dylan. Tune in next week for another edition of The Spill with Dill. In coronavirus outbreak news, it has recently been announced that there has been a new surge of the virus going around the state of Michigan. Health officials estimate that there are 5,600 cases a day from about 1,000 on February 21st. That nation's top five metro area in recent cases per capita are all in Michigan: Jackson, Detroit, Flint, Lansing, and Monroe. Emily Toth Martin, an epidemiologist at the University of Michigan School of Public Health, has this to say on the new surge of virus in Michigan. "It is absolutely alarming. Looking at the numbers yesterday felt like a gut punch. We're going to have to go through the surge and all this hard work again to get the numbers down," end quote. Yet Americans are reminded of news that brings hope. More than 2.8 million vaccines are being administered every day on average, as the country is fast approaching vaccine eligibility for all adults, and vaccine trials in adolescents have been proven to be successful. Health officials attribute the rapid rise in cases due to B.1.17 variant that was originally identified in Britain and is widespread in Michigan. On Thursday, Michigan officials announced that they had identified their first case of the P1 variant, which has spread widely in Brazil and has now been found in more than 20 U.S. states. More than 2,300 coronavirus patients statewide are hospitalized, a figure that has more than doubled since the beginning of March. 5 hospitals in Henry State Ford System in the Detroit area had a total of 75 coronavirus patients during the week of March 8th. As of Tuesday, the hospitals were up to 267 patients. The health system announced Monday that they would reinstate a policy limiting visitors at several hospitals. In response to the latest surge, asked how officials would address the rising cases, Bobby Leedy, a spokesperson for Mrs. Whitmer, said the governor planned to expand testing and continue to encourage mask wearing, hand washing, and social distancing. "The most important thing people can do is get the safe and effective COVID-19 vaccine to protect themselves and their families and help us eliminate this virus once and for all," end quote. He said in a statement, quote, "I do think this could be the beginning of a third surge," end quote. Dr. Cal Dunn said, after an initial rush of cases in Michigan last March and April, followed by a surge in October and November, quote, "I am concerned, but I also think that there are things that we can do today that will start to turn that curve down," end quote. "We will keep you posted on the outbreak in Michigan and hope that things do get better and the community continues to recover." OSU recently announced they will have a vaccine pod held in Gallagher IBA Arena on April 8th. The OSU vaccine pod will be administering the one-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine from 8 to 11 a.m. and from 1 to 5 p.m. The one-dose COVID vaccination is available for OSU students, employees, and employee dependents. OSU collaborated with IMI Labs, Payne County Health Department, and OSU Health Services to create the vaccine pod. Their mission is to provide thousands of doses on April 8th. in hopes of protecting the campus, community, and attaining the goal of herd immunity. It is highly recommended for people who have not been vaccinated to take advantage of this opportunity. During this time, the clinic is open only to OSU students, employees, and employee dependents. If any additional spaces remain available, OSU will open the clinic to the Stillwater community. To sign up for the vaccination clinic, visit https://portal.emmylabs.com/private vaccine. That link will take you directly to the Emmy Labs webpage to set up an appointment. To make sure to use the appointment code CowboyVaccine. Emails for further information and updates on the vaccine pod held in Gallagher, IBA on April 8th next week. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, Carsten will give you the news for sports. For the Daily O, I'm Sierra Williams.
Oh, there you go. Superstar.
The end of the practice is when we do all of our intensity drills.
Okay.
She was going at it.
Stop. If we get them to Detroit by, let's say Monday the 15th. Time's right there. There we go. Yeah. Just, you can't.
Don't want to talk about it.
When you see the water tower, you're gonna make a right.
If we win this, we have one way to get to the playoffs. I know.
Welcome back to The Daily O. I'm Karsten Melton, and let's get you caught up on all things sports as we head into the weekend. The biggest news of the week came yesterday as OSU's own Cade Cunningham has officially declared for the NBA draft this year. Cade and his head coach Mike Boynton sat down in front of the media yesterday morning to give the news.
I was a freshman on senior night, so I feel like Oklahoma State, because Mike did had a lot of help in that decision being easier. But yeah, I mean, you lose a game. It was just so many high emotions in the moment. I never wanted to take off the jersey after the game. So no, it's hard. It's hard to make that decision in the moment. So I just wanted to, wait until my head was level. But
kept going.
I was just blessed to have the opportunity to be able to enter into the draft. And, I feel like I had did a lot of the work early to be able to, be in that position. So when the time came, I feel like it was something that, I felt like I had to do for, my future and for my family's future. So I thought it was the best thing to do, and I'm excited to do it. I'm excited to, step into this next chapter of my life and see how it's going to go.
Cade has had quite the year in Stillwater, winning a handful of Big 12 awards like Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year, and being named a consensus first-team All-American. Cade now looks to the pros, where he is projected to be a top 5 pick, if not the first player taken off the board no matter who's picking at number 1. The Oklahoma State baseball team were in action this past Tuesday against OU. Our own Jace Andrews has the recap.
Cowboy baseball continues their hot streak with a win against in-state rival OU in walk-off fashion. After sweeping the weekend series against Kansas State, the Cowboys had a weekday matchup against the Sooners Tuesday night. Bedlam is always a big deal in Stillwater, but with the way this OU team has been playing, even Coach Holliday knew this was going to be a close game.
But they're a good team. They're very athletic. They're in a really good place offensively, and they've got good arms, so they're a very good team.
This game started out just the way the Cowboys like, by putting runs up in the first inning and grabbing an early lead. This team is no stranger to early runs, as over the past 5 games, this team has put up 2 or more runs in just the first 2 innings. The OSU offense was again put in motion by Cowboy catcher Max Hewitt. As with 2 outs in the first, he shot a double down the right field line, scoring 2 Cowboys to put OSU up 2-0 in the first inning. With the hot bat lately, Coach Holliday shows some love for his starting catcher.
He's very pure. He plays for the team, and he plays as hard as he can, and works his tail off, and he's embraced anything he's been asked to do since he's been at Oklahoma State, and he's become a catcher in the last 2 years, and he cared just as much tonight about the defense and working with the pitchers as he did his offense.
The Cowboys' early advantage would not last long, as the Sooners would come back scoring the next 4 runs in the game to put themselves up 4-2 heading into the bottom of the 5th. This is when these Cowboys fought back, scoring 2 runs of their own off a bases-loaded hit by pitch and an RBI single from none other than Max Hewitt. With this game now tied up, the OSU bullpen took over, holding OU scoreless through the top of the 9th inning.
No doubt that was the difference in the game tonight, is how well the guys out of the bullpen handled some of those stressful situations. So I'm very, very proud and very excited by that.
With the game tied up heading into the bottom of the 9th, the Cowboys had a chance to open Bedlam and O'Brate the same way they closed Bedlam and Allie P. Reynolds with a walk-off win. This inning started off just the way Coach Holliday wanted it to, with a single to put a runner on with no outs. After this, back-to-back Cowboys reached base by laying down bunts, and that set the scene for Caden Tranquil, who singled in the game-winning run from third. Tranquil, though, gives all the credit to his teammates.
Walking up to the plate, I felt confident in myself, because they made my job easy. I just had to put it in play. They did all the hard work.
With this win, Oklahoma State leads the 2020-2021 Bedlam Series 15-3 and puts them just 2 wins away from clinching this year's series. OSU baseball started a weekend series last night against the West Virginia Mountaineers with a 4-3 loss. The second game of the series is tonight, with the first pitch being at 6. We will have more on this series on Monday's show. For the Daily O, I'm Jace Andrews.
Thanks, Jace. Make sure and tune in tonight as the Cowboys continue their series against the Mountaineers. The NCAA men's basketball tournament is down to the final 4 teams. 4 teams will be vying to play for a national championship on Saturday night. In a truly unprecedented tournament, this year's Final Four has the potential to be one for the ages. Each team has a chance to make history, with one team trying to become the first double-digit seed to make the title game, and for 3 others trying to win their first championship in school history. The first game tipping off from Indianapolis will be Baylor against Houston. The Baylor Bears have been arguably the second best team all season, only losing 2 games to both Kansas and Oklahoma State. They currently lead the nation in 3-point shooting percentage and have 4 players averaging over 11 points per game in the tournament. Awaiting the Bears are an old rival in the Houston Cougars. The Cougars are holding teams to around 55 points per game in the tournament and are dominating opponents in rebounds. While they only have 2 players averaging in double figures, they play such incredible defense that it negates the lack of firepower on offense. Both Baylor and Houston have never won the national championship. This is the first time since 1950 that Baylor has made the Final Four, and the first time for Houston since 1984. These 2 programs used to be big rivals in the old Southwest Conference from the early 1970s to the mid-1990s. Now they will play for a chance to win their school's first national championship. The later game on Saturday will feature the number 1 team all season in Gonzaga against the Cinderella team of UCLA. The Gonzaga Bulldogs have not lost a game since February 2020 and are trying to become one of the all-time greatest teams in history. Gonzaga is trying to become the first team since 1972 to have a perfect season and win the title, the first team since 1992 to win the title after spending the entire season ranked number 1, and the first team from a non-power conference to win it all since 1990. They're only the 6th team since the tournament expanded in 1985 to win their first 4 games by 15 or more points, but the first to do so since 2004. The Zags average 92 points per game and shoot 55%, both ranked first in the nation. Player of the Year finalist Corey Kispert has been Gonzaga's best player all season, but the tournament has belonged to Drew Timme for his incredible play and his amazing mustache. Waiting for the Zags is the 6th double-digit seed to ever make the Final Four, the UCLA Bruins. UCLA is the 2nd team to play in the first 4 play-in game and make the Final Four, joining the 2011 VCU squad. The Bruins are also the 4th team seeded 6 or lower to beat a 1 seed and a 2 seed in the Sweet 16 and Elite 8, the first since 1992. Star transfer Johnny Juzang has been the main catalyst for the Bruins, averaging 21 points per game on 47% shooting. He scored 28 against Michigan in the Elite 8 to secure their Final Four spot. UCLA and Gonzaga also have history with each other. Back in 2006, UCLA overcame a 17-point deficit in the Sweet 16 to beat the Bulldogs in one of the greatest tournament comebacks in recent memory. This is the 2nd Final Four appearance in program history for Gonzaga, who are looking for their first national championship. UCLA, meanwhile, has won an NCAA record 11 championships and are in their 18th Final Four, the first since 2008. The Final Four tips off at 4:14 p.m. from Indianapolis with Baylor versus Houston, followed by Gonzaga versus UCLA at 7:34. Both games will be on CBS. The national championship will be Monday night at 9, also on CBS at the Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. The Oklahoma State Pro Day happened yesterday morning, and the scouts were out to see the best of OSU. Here's the story.
Yesterday was a huge day for a group of Cowboys as 10 OSU football players looked to show off their skills at the 2021 Oklahoma State Pro Day. This year's Pro Day has a bit more emphasis on it, with most of the combine not taking place due to COVID. With this being said, all the skills that these Cowboys would usually show off in the NFL combine, they showed off at Pro Day. This Pro Day was headlined by 4 Cowboys who are projected to go in the first 5 rounds of the NFL draft in Tylan Wallace, Chuba Hubbard, Rodarius Williams, and projected first-round pick Tevin Jenkins. These guys started off in the weight room showing off their strength and athleticism. In the weight room, Tevin Jenkins showed out, getting a personal record 36 reps on bench press. Rodarius Williams also showed off his jump with a 36.5 vertical. Now that these Cowboys have showed off their speed and strength, they look to show off their skills in their own position groups as they head to the Sherman Smith Center. Now in the Sherman E. Smith Training Center, these Cowboys look to show off their speed and quickness with the 40-yard dash, a 20-yard shuttle, and the L drill. All eyes were on Chuba Hubbard for the 40-yard dash to see what speed this running back can bring to the next level. Hubbard finished with a 4.45 time, which ranks him 3rd among running backs in this year's draft. With all the speed and agility tests finished, these scouts got a look at some positional work from all these athletes. Tevin Jenkins and Rye Schneider worked on offensive line work, while Tylan Wallace, Dylan Stoner, Chuba Hubbard, Jordan McRae, and Philip Redwine Bryant showed off their receiving skills. To finish off the 2021 Pro Day, we got a look at Rodarius Williams, Eamon Ogbongbemiga, Calvin Bundage, and Cam Murray in some defensive drills. All of these Cowboys performed well as they hoped to upgrade their draft stock in the upcoming NFL draft. We hope to hear all these Cowboys' names get called during the draft from April 29th to May 1st. For the Daily O, I'm Jace Andrews.
Thanks, Jace. Yesterday marked the long-awaited beginning to the MLB's 2021 season. The league's last season was forced into a very different format, with the season being postponed into the summer to the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. Teams only played 60 of the normal 162-game schedule last season and played in a different style of postseason. a postseason which was won by the Los Angeles Dodgers. But after many strides being made over the past couple of months with the vaccine being distributed and numbers on the decline, the league is prepared to go ahead with 162 games as usual. Fans are also back in the stands after being shut out last season. A select number of fans are being let in and are able to enjoy the game safely. However, even with the strides, there is still the presence of COVID-19. The opening day matchup between the New York Mets and the Washington Nationals was postponed due to positive tests. 4 players in the Nationals organization tested positive for the virus, with another 5 players in quarantine due to close contact with those involved. This series was postponed and will be made up later in the year, surely in 7-inning doubleheaders. The Nationals' next series against the Atlanta Braves will mostly suffer the same fate as this one. The Mets are COVID-free as of now and are scheduled to take on the Philadelphia Phillies starting Monday and should have no problems being ready to play. That's it for sports today, but before we let you go, here is the 7-day forecast. Friday's high today was a beautiful 70 degrees with a low of 48. This entire weekend, the temperatures will start to go up. 77 degrees on Saturday with a low of 52, followed by 79 and partly cloudy on Sunday. Monday and Tuesday look beautifully gorgeous. 81 degrees on Monday, 82 degrees on Tuesday with the beautiful sunny skies. And then the clouds will start to roll in Wednesday and Thursday, start to cool us off a little bit with a high of 75 on Wednesday and a high of 74 on Thursday. Thanks for tuning into the Daily O this weekend, or today, excuse me. Make sure you stay tuned after the show. We are going live from the Oklahoma State Student Union, where OSU Board of Regents Chair Rick Davis is expected to announce Bern Hargis's successor as Oklahoma State President. That's all we have for our show today. Make sure to follow us on social media at @TheDailyO_TV. You can also watch our show on Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, Roku, and on Suddenlink Channel 112. Have a good weekend, and we will see you back here on Monday. For the Daily O, I'm Karsten Melton.
Fire Kissed Pizza.